Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
In a health teaching, you said that the soul of the man leaves the body at the exactly moment that she must to go.
Yes.
This moment, I didn't understand what you were saying about it. You said in a teaching that is beyond your imagination.
You see,
if you could say about it, thank you very much.
Yes. Go back to the matter state. Maybe you understand better. In the matter state, the strength of the field of a magnet dictates its positioning. When you put two magnets next to each other, they create a distance gap, what we call magnetic gravitational field position. If you put a winding around one of the magnets, you can do it if you understand how to do it, and increase the flow of the fields in one of the magnets, you will see maybe the other magnets come slightly closer or move further. And you can reach to a position by creating these kind of magnetic fields, which is done for some military purposes, some industrial purposes, that the other magnet literally shoots up without doing anything to it. It becomes a trajectory. We see it in the slaughterhouses in a different shape, like a bullet, but it's releasing and attracting. Now, your solar physicality becomes that winding. And your soul becomes the other magnet. But in this case, the solar physicality has given its energy to the soul. So now the soul is energized. And when the point comes that the soul of the man's energy surpasses the blood flow cage, it takes off. And in taking off, what happens? the physicality stays behind, but the soul has gone. Point of death. Why most of us die at the old age? If you can keep the circulation of the blood and the energy levels of your body at a strength that does not come low than controlling the cage of the field of the soul, you do not die. You can extend your life. The minute the soul of the man receives more energy as part of the information, emotion, and whatever else, and the cage becomes rusty and weak, the soul has nothing to hold it. It becomes the point of death. So our aging is by circulating less blood, feeding the soul more from the soul of physicality and dimension of emotion and whatever energy, it becomes more powerful and it jumps, it creates that, it becomes that bullet to a new position, breaks through the weak cage, which is rusty, which is the old age of the man, the blood cannot hold the circulation that is strong, then you die. Because the soul is gone, physicality stays behind. It's escapism for the soul of the man. We escape from it. We become good in doing it, and in that process, we interact, we increase, we add to it by expansion of strength. And that's how the death comes. Physical separation of the soul of the man from soul of physicality. But you got to understand, the minute this process starts, which the soul of physicality becomes slowly aware that is losing control to the soul of the man, it transfers most of the energies which are within it, within the soul of the man, within the soul of physicality of man, and the physical energy of the body of the man to the soul of the man. So it suddenly receives a rapid field energy because it's aware, the blood flow is weak, and then the soul departs. It becomes that bullet. But that bullet, through its interaction and field strength, has already destined for a position for it to find its balance. And then in that position, it becomes, because it has no physical structure, soul physicality with it partially, it becomes a star. And that star starts a new life as in a galaxy, in the universe, as a dust in the world of the creation. In a way, you created a soul shooting star, and you have to see if it has enough at the point of arrival that it becomes the source, it becomes the beginning of the new cycle for the soul. The whole purpose of creation is to create new essence of creation, which is another star, which is the soul of the man, but not within the physicality of the man, but in another dimension. And doesn't matter how long you keep this together, you can always play it one against the other or one within the other, that you live everlasting life of the Creator. I made man in the image of myself because I become the man that within it, having connection with me, I keep total integrity and totality of integral fields of what I started with, so I don't lose anything. And this is the secret of creation. It's the secret of life in the dimension of the existence. As the Arab says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. This is it. This is the final, as we understand the beauty of the Creator. All the beauties are given, and there is no more. It's you who have to understand how beautiful it is. As all the beauties, Rahman, which is the kindness, the love of Creator is already given. It's us who have to understand.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 475th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in these weekly Knowledge Seekers Workshops. And once again, we have the pleasure of the company of Mr. Mehran Keshe to guide us through today's program. And I think he's ready to begin today's workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Hello, good morning. Good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers from the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. As we are sharing knowledge, we gain more knowledge and more confidence to understand the process of creation and how we are created and how we survive and how we choose to survive and how our soul decides the position of life on earth in the shape of the body of the man, on another position in the shape of a cosmos, a fly. And aliens that man cannot ever imagine exist, or as a speck of dust, or atom of water. Going through the teaching of past few weeks, as we start speaking about cosmic rays, we have opened new doors in the knowledge of man. And in that process, in the past 2 or 3 weeks, especially bringing into play the carbon-14, a lot of you are wondering, baffled, want to know, try different things, and in a way, trying to connect the dots to see where the shape of the body of the man as the essence of physicality and the soul comes and how it is and the way it is. Last week, we spoke about the carbon-14 and how this little chap plays a vital role in the life of the man. And in that process, what it can and it does, and how it works. Today, I will unravel to you the secret of the life, conversion of the energy of the cosmos into an energy of man, into the structure of the man, and how man unknowingly makes connection with this and taps into the universal energy without knowing. And our scientists, our human race scientists, have never understood this. Unraveling the connection between the carbon-14 and carbon-12 and what we talked about, the structure of the calcium in the body of the man with the eye is the cornerstone of life of the man on this planet. Man would not exist. Animals would not exist. Minerals would not exist if mankind does not understand the seeding center of every life. On Earth, due to its gravitational magnetic field, the seeding site is calcium. Without it, there is no structure. Even the animal which has no skeleton, even a plant which has nothing to grow but as a smallest leaf, the smallest green dot you see on the ground. Last week, I explained in a very simple way how carbon-14 comes in from cosmos as a field. And then the body of the man converts it into carbon-12. And then it leaves the body of the man in different shapes and forms and energies, again as carbon-14. This carbon-14 entry and exit are not the same. Of the different strength, different information and energies, which they lost some of it here, but they gained something else from the body of the man, conversion of the blood system. So what your blood did, bringing the blood circulation around, delivers what it doesn't need, and the calcium-14 leaving carries it out with it. Piggyback job. But the biggest point, which the world of the science of the man have not understood up to date, for the first time, I opened this door, even why you drink water, why your life is connected to water. Water is not something to drink as a thirst. Water is a connection, conversion of the carbon-14 to carbon-12 for energy difference for life of the man. You have H2O. 16 needs to lose 2 energy atomic structure to become 14, behaving like a carbon. That allows the universal energy to be absorbed by the man's body. Water is not just a thirst. Water is the essence of the conversion of the fields of the universe to the body of the man. That's why your body contains it. But cannot do it. It's converted. It's there to do. It's there for it to convert it because of the vacuum condition of the body of the man allows that conversion. But how do you plant it? How do you deliver it? The secret sits in that calcium. Calcium has a spectrum from around about 30, 32, energetic-wise, to around about 60. And above. You have, in a simple language, carbon-12 and carbon-14. 3 times carbon-12 is 36. 3 times carbon-14 is 42. Conversion of calcium in the body of the man comes from this. Absorption of the carbon-14 energy to 12 comes from this. But man has missed the biggest secret in his life in understanding. Go back on the teachings. Many times, in the medical teachings, many times, we refer to there is not a single cell in the body of the man which does not contain calcium. Why? Now you understand. The way your body, your brain took direct hit from the cosmic ray 14, absorbed and released whatever it didn't need. Every cell of the man absorbs cosmic rays directly from conversion of the calcium in the seed. The seed calcium in every cell of the man is his soul, is his structure of the absorption of it. Without it, the cell does not exist because it cannot receive the carbon 14 conversion, so it dies. So it dissolves, it releases energy. This is how the cell of the body of the man every 28 days in one place and every 10 years or 4 years changes in another part of the body of the man. If the world of science understands this, if the science of the man understands the conversion point from the cosmic rays into what we call energy connection, then man understands he has found the key to everlasting life. Don't forget, body of the man is Mr. Cohen. Lives by communication between carbon 14 and carbon 12. But the link to the universe and the body of the man, now you understand what I keep on telling you, 80% of your energy comes from the universe, not by the food you eat. Every cell in your body is not waiting for the energy to come from the food. 20% for dimension of physicality of it to confirm, yes. The rest of it through the seed of the calcium, receiving the cosmic rays, and in a conversion of H2O to carbon 14 conversion to 12 to release its energy to exist. Man exists on this planet. I take the calcium from the seed of your cell. You don't exist. This is why so many of you die with chemotherapy. Because the chemotherapy is very simple. Your bone has holes which goes into and becomes bone marrow. Chemotherapy increases the size of the lymph and blocks the hole. So there is no calcium to be picked up to deliver to start another cycle. Then in what the strength of which calcium you release from which hole into the bone marrow dictates the term of your life. A cell for a heart, a cell for brain, a cell for anything else. Now man understands that the cosmic rays in the carbon 14 coming on the back of the hydrogen into the center body calcium of the man releases at carbon 12 energy. Energy absorbed by the calcium released to the cell of the man. And man needs the other connection to deliver instantaneously. You have H2O. Again delivering carbon 14. If the cosmic rays are blocked by the system. This is why you feel so refreshed when you drink a glass of water. And this is why the reason you die when you have no water. You have no point of conversion. You cannot deliver the energy needed in a carbon 14 structure to the calcium for it to be able to feed, the start of it to feed, to convert energy into the cell for it to survive. This is the essence of the secret of the life on this planet. And this process repeats itself across the universe. It's literally like you're a farmer. You grow the carrots, you grow the potatoes. Maybe you have a cow. Maybe you have a pig. You get the milk and the meat. But you need other things to cook. You go to the supermarket, you go to the market, you buy other things. God sells an onion, other things to bring in. That H2O is that onion, because the body has got everything in the house from itself, from the planet Earth. And if man understand this and provide that hydrogen within the structure of the oxygen as an absorber, not as energy releaser, then the secret of life for man across the universe is guaranteed. This is why we ran a week of feeding you. Those of you who joined us last Sunday, 2 weeks, 10 days ago, this week you've been eating on the table of the Creator. But you haven't understood that. You came, oh, how's that right? I smelled chelo kebab and I smelled this and I smelled that, but I didn't get the energy. Because you came for the odor. You didn't come for the essence of the creation. Many of you still eating. You haven't understood how to handle the table of the creation. Next week, as I said, again, from Monday to Friday, we open the table of the Creator to dine with him. But this time, you bring your food. And then you see what you gain. You came to take, and you walk with nothing. You still starve and you still eat. You come and bring in sincerity the combination of the fields of the creation. You receive the food of life from the Creator. You came to steal. We're going to eat. What am I going to feel? You didn't come to feed. What I'm going to give. And I set the trap for you. In the system, we put everything possible. From rice to meat to fruits, flowers, that if you're romantic, a red rose leaf. But you all came to take. Even the water you drink is there to give. If you understand the structure of life on this planet, if you understand the process of the absorption of the energies of the cosmos, then you understand you can create anything. Because on absorption and conversion, some of these become potassium. Some of these become phosphor and sulfur and everything else. The essence of the conversion and creation in interaction with the fields of the body of the man, feeding itself with carbon-14 in the essence of the water, becomes in interaction with the field rays of the interaction, the elements which the man needs as a platform to survive. Now you understand how simple the process of the creation in the universe is, if we understand the true essence of it. And our doctors and our nutritionists have got no clue. The lady writes to me, we are opening a gas company in China. Open 100. It means you haven't even understood. With release of one knowledge in the next few weeks to the Chinese government, we feed the nation without a single food on the table. 1.4 billion is nothing. Multiplied by 1.4 billion order of magnitude. When you understand the secret of creation, you give enough fields that it creates warmth and heat. You can swim the depth of the ices of the oceans of the universe. You still survive. Now you understand where the technology is going, where the new system built work on that conversion. Now, if the world scientists understand this, none of you should have cancer within 1 second. If the world scientists understand how this creates in interaction with only cells of the brain of the man, there shall be no depression, no MS, no Alzheimer's, and nothing else. Because each interaction with the structure of the calcium and the cosmic ray, which comes to the brain of the man, to the head of the man, will convert to the fields of the emotion, which the creator feels as the man does. Now you understand why we start teaching you about cosmic rays, why we start teaching you about the knowledge of the carbon-14. Now you understand you don't exist even in the physicality of the man if you do not understand how carbon-14 as the energy of the plasma in piggybanking the hydrogen of the universe delivers its energies, gives the reference point to every point of creation for the life to exist in that point time position. I made man in the image of myself. Even the creator has a seed of creation for itself. Now, if you understood this, if you understand what is being said in past 20 minutes, you throw all the chemistry books, all the medical books into the rivers of the lack of knowledge of the man of past centuries. It'll take man thousands of years to unravel this secret. Even so simple, I have put it on the board. Now you understand why when you die, your skeleton stays behind. The stability of the carbon-48 and the stability of the calcium-48 dictates the life. Not all your bone stays behind. Part of the bone calcium, which is in 36 and 60, will disappear. Why calcium runs to isotopes of around 60? Go to the chemistry books and read it. Because 60, 65, then it can deliver directly energy to iron, to zinc, to copper, which is the essence of life of the creation of the man. Now you understand why you have calcium within every cell body of the man, be it the muscle, be it the brain, be it the blood. Calcium-14, in conjunction with carbon-14, is the distributor of, converter of energy of the universe in the body of the man, within its own small universe. God is creator of all, and man converter of some, even converts some of the rays of the creator within it to survive as a life of the man in itself. I am the creator of my own, as I have created to be the creator of. Now man understands this. When you see another being in the universe, you look at it, what section, what combination of the carbon-14 in a plasma condition, not atomic with neutrons and electrons in it, but as an energy pack, this creature converts. And it cannot hold on, it gives something out. It cannot take something from the energy it doesn't need without killing it. Then man understands the emotion. Then man sees different lights emitting from the body. Oh, I need the red one and a pink one because this goes with the calcium in my body conversion into what I need to convert to survive. Now you understand you do not need to kill. Now you understand what's all this teaching is coming from and where it's going to. I didn't come here to teach you about magnums. You're so naive. I didn't come here to teach you about gases, but it was the only way we could show the power of the creation, the essence of creation. and how you can tap into it. Fountain of the youth is a dream of the man which has no pain to understand the structure of life, as is always young, and he always shall live. Now you got to understand. Now, as I always say, you have no choice. Get your scientists to understand this process. You change the direction of the life of the man on this planet. Throw away all your medical books and your chemistry books and your physics books because it's nothing but nonsense. You still cannot cure a simple cancer. You still cannot heal a simple cut. You have to wait for the destiny of the time of the body, if receives enough. The knowledge of the man is even less than the knowledge of a creature which can create its own tail. Now you are proud, you're the king of the creation. You're the king of stupidity, of not understanding the knowledge of the creator. That's all. And that's on individuals. Because when we come arrogant to it, we lose the sight. And this is what has kept the man from the sight. Understanding the conversion, the process of the conversion of the fields of the universe, which comes from the creator into the body of the man. You made all these chemicals, pharmaceuticals, far suited for stupidity, not for curing the man. Even in the systems we are developing for you, is for our people and you to understand and gain trust to move to the next step. But we make it available at the strength of the soul of the man. Now you understand how, in a very simple way, in a very childish way, I have brought you to understand the process of the creation, the process of the conversion of the creation into the physicality of the man. Mitra, blesses her name, brought this knowledge, but man ignored. If you combine the right way, the calcium, with the cosmic rays, you get the love of creator. The emotion of love comes from this process. Comes from this conversion. And the waters of this planet has the right combination to nourish what you call the love of man. Now even you understand why the creator fell in love with Mitra and Mitra with earth, and through the love from each other that led to the release of the knowledge of the creation. Otherwise, not only man, but the universe would have lived in the dimension of ignorance. Understand this process into essence of the creation and conversion of the universal fields. Then you have access to Unicos. Be ignorant of it, you die of cancer and everything else on this planet. And the smallest fields in the universe will disassemble in the plasma of the body of the man. Now you understand how much knowledge is still to give you. But I still humble enough to walk amongst you as a man, with all the pitfalls of existence. Understanding of the totality of the creation is the job of the man. It's the job of the soul of the man, as the body of the man is fragile. You move out of the gravitational magnetic field of this planet, you cannot even absorb. You have not been taught how to absorb the dimension of the fields of the universe. We starve you from oxygen even while you are in the pool of it. As water, you die. Even though it carries the oxygen which you need, because your cells, your emotion, your fields in the brain of the man has not learned about the cosmic rays within the water itself to use it as an absorber of energy and survive within the water. You do not need you. You need to understand the emotion of conversion in the brain of the man. Then you survive in any position in the universe. Depth of the oceans to the highest mountains, coldest places in the universe, because you learn through your soul and the soul of physicality within you how to convert the energies. When you depart from the position of the soul of the man and you carry that soul of physicality energy within you in the universe, now this becomes your calcium to feed within the structure of the plasma of the soul of the man. Where in the dimension of physicality, you were outside in dimension and the soul was inside, feeding you from inside to every cell of the calcium, corruption, and dimension. Now you can see how this skin of the sheep turns inside out, and both has a purpose. Now mankind has no choice but come to the point of what we call peace. Peace within itself, and then peace with the rest of the creation and the creator. In so many ways, if the world of science of man understands the teaching of today, man has opened a new gate to the world of understanding and life in the universe. Maybe one day, if man matures enough, I'll explain the life in the universe and in the unicos. Because the process in the unicos and the gravitational magnetic fields of the creation and life is connected directly to the soul of the creator. At the moment, as a man, the field you receive is regurgitated and chewed by so many before it became the body of the man's particles. Your body is not second-hand and third-hand fields of the creator. It's chewed up to the infinity of the billions. Physicality of the man is nothing but leftovers of the leftovers of many generations of creation. And still you're so arrogant. understanding the creation, transportation of the energy fields, the load on the energy fields, is the secret of survival in every dimension of the creation, be it on a planet, solar system, a galaxy, a universe, or in the universe. Then you have access to the soul of the creator. If you can create yourself through your own structure, the creation of life. In a simple language, just step by step, I have unraveled these to the scientists at the Keshe Foundation. And are in the process of the development of the creation and conversion from the soul of creator to the soul of the man to the dimension of physicality of the man. Today, we have hundreds of thousands of people starving cold with a small earthquake in a part of Turkey, Syria, and the rest. If their leaders accept the knowledge of the man, will feed the totality within a wish. But man has to come to peace. Not the border that one side is stars and the other border West supplies. What's the difference between the blood and the imaginary line of the man? You are immature, we'll let you die with it. If you understand, every knowledge is a gift. It's the one who receives the gift, how he uses it. It's a knife which cuts on both sides. I used to have a friend in our organization, and I've said that many times before. He refused to buy a knife to be sold in our stores. I said to him, Nat, why? One day somebody bought a knife in one of our shops and went and killed the person. I don't want to be involved in it. I said, what about the knife the mother buys and feed that child to survive? It's you who has to understand which way, which side of the knife cuts, to what purpose. As long as the man kills, shall not receive. The life, the emotion of the man should be knife of the love that he cuts and he gives. The mother, the way she cuts the fruit with love and care, that the child receive the best part of the fruit, has to be the essence of the creation of the man. If you understand the totality of the conversion, then every radiation which man has not and cannot even imagine today will be open to mankind. You don't carry love in your hand. You release it as a field, as a radiation of love. Then mankind has to understand, even in its skull, if you open this skull, if the scientists of the man go deep into and expand this skull, you will find different structures of the calcium, which each one connected to absorb certain field structure and radiate certain fields inside. When you hold the skull of the man in your hand, you carry the biggest converter of the energies of the universe, but man has never understood. When you die, Some of these, because there is no use, disappears. The only structure which leaves behind for man is calcium 40, maybe calcium 41. In some cases, you carry calcium 46. That calcium 46 should have given man the knowledge of the cosmic rays, but he never understood. When you carry calcium 46 in the bone structure of the man, you have carbon 14 and carbon 12. You came in with 42 and 48. Reduction to absorption to release energy. Man has not even understood. Oh, his bones left behind. There was a man here. Look into the structure of that bone and you understand the history of the creation in the universe, but in the level of the fields of the spirit. Man, scientist, has been too busy cheating each other and the others, as they never understood. Understanding the process of the creation, understanding the limitation of the knowledge has created a mayhem for the man, has created many prophets, magicians, be it from Moses to a chemist, to a biologist, and the professors. Yesterday I was talking to one of the leading ambassadors in the world, very powerful man. He said, Mehran, we have a problem with the president. I said, what's the problem? He said, you know this technology which we're discussing regarding this and that. He said, we brought top 3 scientists, professors from the university, and they all 3 rejected it. We sat down with them and said, why? What's the reason you're rejecting this? Nothing to do with the Keshe Foundation technology. It's another field. They said, if we accept this, we have to throw our books into the rivers. How am I going to be a professor? I said, tell the president who is the thief of the nation. Chinese government leadership, President Xi, knows this, that the reason the country cannot move forward and he still has to steal from the others is the scientists of his own who blocking the knowledge to be transferred to the scientists, the new generation. We saw China put those who did all the briberies into the hanging section. They hung 50, 60,000 those who took the bribe in past 5 or 10 years to stop the bribery. Soon we'll see the Chinese government will put these scientists, the elite scientists, into prisons for stealing, allowing the nation to go forward with the technologies. It's not that China doesn't have scientists. China has the best scientists, but these thieves, as a name of professors and elite scientists, stop it, because then their paper's worth nothing because they're 40 years old. It's the same with the rest of the man, the structure of life. It's not that you don't understand. It's that those who call themselves professors and the priests and the prophets, they're all thieves in their own shape or form for them to have a value to their meager brain of themselves. What's on the table? What we taught today, what we taught you last week, and in the past weeks, in how even your soul receives energies in that conversion, should create a new seed of understanding in all your souls and physicalities. At the moment, the human race is not controlled by the banks, it's controlled by ignorance of the scientists, professors and university professors who have no knowledge except cheating to get to that point. Half of their thesis is stolen from other scientists. We are in the same situation in the world of politics. Who and how they have attached religions to every parliament and senate and everything else, that they have a say, that they can control the cheating of the church, the mosque, and the rest into it. Thieves of scientists and thieves of the soul of the man working together, how can man progress? You have the knowledge, you have to decipher. Not me and nobody else. You decipher it according to your intelligence. You decipher it according to what you want from that intelligence, and you create the new dimension of science. Science of understanding the sense into interaction of the fields of the universe and nothing else. Science means making sense and nothing else, but it has to make sense according to the world of the creation, not to the cheat of the scientist of the past and the present, protecting a piece of paper. When my degree came from Queen Mary College, it came in a toilet roll. I refused to go to graduation. I opened it, I saw a certificate of degree. I took it and I stuck it under the toilet roll in the bathroom. My mom came and said, "What's this hanging there?" I said, "That's my degree." She said, "Are you stupid?" I said, "Mom, has no value, it's a man's value. That's all it's worth. If I don't carry the intelligence and knowledge." It's just a piece of paper. And it's worth nothing more than the toilet paper. If the man does not carry the knowledge within it, and the knowledge to give the correct way, and to accept the dimension, the process of it in the same way. I understood what's on this board 60 years ago. I created the first reactors 25 years ago, 20 years ago on the same basis. And it works. But I have to do things for man not to call me a magician. Understand the process. Understand the process of the creation. Understand the process the creator is transferring his love, his energy to you to understand the process. Then you can use this to every advantage of mankind. Take from it, become gravitational. Give to it and become magnetic. Isn't it the way I taught you how to make your magraps? The knowledge is the same. It should not make a difference. The degree came in a toilet roll, and he went where he fitted, under a toilet roll. A cardboard box rolled, exactly like a center tube of a toilet roll. And I gave it to my mom. I said, "Mom, it came in the toilet roll. You see, that's where it should be." She sat and cried. He said, "You wasted your life." I said, "No, Mom, I gained my life." understand the process of combustion, understand the process of transportation, understand the process of transmutation. You transport physical matter, you transmute plasma energy. Then you understand where and how and what you want to create. How many years it took you to find out about the magic liquid in a Coca-Cola bottle? It was caustic. And you created nanomaterial, you created everything else, you created diamond structure on the same. And the stupid scientists, or what I call ignorant, arrogant, pedophile science people of the university, also they call that he uses a radiation, he's a terrorist. There's nothing in creating the most advanced fields of the radiation anywhere in the world. But the two stupid Belgian scientists, it was a terrorist organization. They terrorized the Keshe technology for years due to their ignorance. Nuclear weapons, if you understand this, are worthless. It's like you're throwing a match in the river. It's just like a sparkle. If I release this knowledge in the dimension of the nuclear plasma energy of the cosmic rays, there'll be no Earth left, let alone worrying about the nuclear bomb. In fact, as I said to the Americans on a table of discussion in Seoul in 2008, I use your own nuclear warheads to make food out of it. Not to kill with it. Because you have already purified it to the level that I can use it. There is no calcium in it, there is no zinc in it. You give me a pure, high-level plasma. I know how to convert it. I know how to control it. With one nuclear warhead, I can feed the whole of the galaxy. Forget about the Earth. If you understand how to release that, up to today, you never understood why you drink water. What's the reason the minute you touch the water on your lips, the thirst goes? Is a rapid conversion in the vacuum of body of the man to open up the hydrogen in releasing the energy of the oxygen to become equal to the cosmic rays that it reaches every single cell of body of the man. Drink more. Now, mankind has to move to the next level of understanding the knowledge of creation. Next week and the week after, I unravel to you the knowledge that you could not even imagine exists. We are done last week and this week. You understand this because you came through with me, with nano coating, with the gas making, with the magravs and the rest of it. You housewives, pensioners, boys in the college, street cleaners, have more knowledge than the professors in MIT in space and in energy. You got to understand the process of creation, the true way, and be your own teacher, but observe the others, what they have learned. And don't become arrogant in what you understand. Become humble to share. Then you progress. Then you move into the next step to understand more. Then you understand why life means life in every point in the universe, irrespective of time, place, and position. There is no time when the life hasn't started. We celebrate the birth of children from the moment, the day they take the first breath from the air of this planet. And we call it a birthday. We don't celebrate the day when they came to conceive, to become the soul within the womb of the mother. There they show the essence of their creation. Again, man dimension of physicality. Then you understand why Chinna Mitra celebrated from the point of inception, not from the point of taking the first air. Then you celebrate that point of that creation. What happens if your child is born on another planet in interaction with another soul from another dimension and doesn't take air and stays as a soul? Does not exist, does not have a birthday, does not have a time of conception? Then you know how children of Mitra will be created. There is no need for an egg and a sperm. Ask yourself a single question. If you understand the theology, Adam made Eve from his rib. Did he have an egg or a sperm? Or was it the love of the essence of the field of the creation? And man still looks into a different dimension. This is how you create the children of the universe in the universe. Fields from the field of the essence of the creation of the earth, and the fields from another essence of creation, another position in the universe. They become lovers, they give to each other to enjoy the other one enjoying. And from it, they create the soul of a new life. The children of the universe. Sorry, the one from planet Dudu does not carry any eggs or sperm. They don't have it in their creation. So man cannot create new life in the other dimensions of the universe because he carries a sperm or an egg. How feeble the understanding of the man is in respect to the creation of the love of the Creator. Did God send a sperm or an egg to earth for life to start? Now you understand how wrong the mentality of the creation has been within among the human race. In Arabic, we have a beautiful word for it. To the stupidity of the man in the lack of understanding. We call it astaghfirullah. Because I cannot understand it, is something that is to do with something which is wrong. If man understand the knowledge which we have given you today, from the love of the Creator, man will find the secret of life in every dimension of the universe. It will take centuries, thousands of years for man scientists to understand what you today felt with the knowledge you were given within your souls, without the dimension of physicality. Today you receive all your PhDs and professorships. Graduation, if you understood it, from the soul of the universe, not from stupidity or lack universities of MIT and God knows the rest. One day, I'll explain to you what MIT means. Man ignorance. You have to look and understand the process of the creation. And which part of this process is for you to enjoy life, to contribute through it to create the next process. We go for a break, we come back, and we'll try to solve the riddles of the creation by the Creator. Rick, if you can take us through a break.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, this is the 475th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. We'll take a few minutes off here and be back shortly.
The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit. A space technology that allows us to work with the fields of the universe, creating a wide range of plasma field interactions and conditions. It allows the body to process itself from any physical or emotional imbalance. Once this balanced condition is achieved, the soul and emotion of the body can follow to find their balance and elevate the whole of the man. The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, technology of the future through advanced plasma knowledge. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here.
Okay, we're back again at the 475th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here. And usually in the second half of the show, Mr. Kesh answers questions from our audience. I'm assuming you would like to carry on with that, Mr. Kesh, or do you have something further you'd like to explain?
No, you're okay. Carry on.
All right. Well, we have a hand up here right away with Azar. So let's begin with her.
Good morning, Mr. Kesh. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Kesh, the fish in the ocean, they have apparatus. They take the oxygen and they release the hydrogen, but we don't have it. But when the fish does it, do they use the emotion or just the apparatus? And then
It's the way we create the apparatuses in our body to convert energies. But if that's for part of the 20% physicality.
Okay, so for example, I was in the ocean recently. I cannot swim, so I was testing. For example, I go flat on my back and I'm breathing and then I'm not moving, but the ocean moves me. So I said to myself, I can be in the ocean. I don't need to swim. Water takes me here and there. So, and then I did another test. I held my breath because I can hold it for a long time. I went deep and I started to move. Then it was a point that I have to breathe. So I drank a lot of water. So I came up. Then I can use my emotion to not to drink like a fish. How can I do it?
You know, in the brain of the man and the soul of physicality of man, there is a point of interaction. And if you reach that point, you can use the physicality to do. You know, you go to all these, what I call cults. You travel around the world going to these cults as that. Some of them cannot eat for 20 days. Some of them don't eat for so many years. Some of them can do one this. They have found that secret with their body. Most probably they cannot teach it to somebody else because they don't even understand it. But in the depths of the ocean, you can switch. Because that water absorbs all the fields of the universe. And you're in it and you start with it. You have to learn how to switch.
When you say you switch, it means I switch and become like a fish, or I switch to
Switch to 100% cosmic rays. The fields which are around you. One of the reasons that the oceans of the planet, even the sweet water you drink, contains salt, is because of its, what we call alkalines, its gravity creates to absorb things in it. The salt in the depths of the oceans is not just to be salt to be there. It's the process that it can absorb the field of the cosmos, that the citizens of the oceans can receive cosmic rays in the depth of the ocean for their soul. You call it alkaline, you call it acidic. I was explaining this to one of our scientists yesterday. Change it to gravitational, change it to magnetic, change it to a giver, change it to a receiver. At any point in the universe, there has to be a point of receiving at a given field of strength, and it has to be a point of giving at a given field of strength. Energies are not created or brought about out of nowhere. It is not a magic fountain and you stand on one end and just water keeps on coming and he has no resources. I made some times ago a little tool that it was dripping water, but it had no resources. In the village of Tiham, I've said this before, where we used to live, across the hill from us, right across is a hill, and in this hill, people come from all over Belgium to take water. And it's very strange. We live on this side, and this is it. We lived here, and here there is a church, and there's a little spring. People come from all over with bottles, with crates to take water from this spring. And they say the water from this spring is good for the eye. It brings healing to them. When I heard this, I said, people don't understand. It's not that the water which comes out of this spring is good for the eye. It passes somewhere in this mountain, this hill, a point that it has a magnetic gravitational field strength which matches with some of the humans' liquid in the eye. You don't need to drink it. If you wash your face, it will have the same. Now we understand the science of it. So in the depth of the ocean, if you can tap, understand where the energy source equal the strength of your cell of the body, doesn't matter if you're in Atlantic or Pacific, they are connected to each other, you receive that energy. You don't need to breathe. We have to understand the true essence of knowledge science. This is what I said many times. You went to the ocean and you got nearly drowned, you took a lot of water. What happened if I throw you out of the space lab in a space? You die the same way as you would have died being, what do you call it, drowned in the ocean in the middle of what is, now you understand, the energy source of your life. Cosmic rays level, but in a dimension of physicality. Man will die, they throw you in a space, you're dead. What is the biggest fear of the astronauts and all the ones that go to the station when they go outside to fit? What happens if the cable breaks? I go out without a cable because I know I already tapped. I live a free life. It needs education. It needs understanding. At the intro of this today's session, what did I say? What did it say? Very, very easy. You should be able to live anywhere in the universe if you can tap into the universal fields. On Earth, you use calcium. Now you understand why you have calcium. What is happening on planet Zeus? When your soul leaves your physicality, what the intro says, the soul of physicality will give its energy to it before departure. So it sees the worm of the physicality where and when the soul at a given point will come to exist, and then the reverse jacket. You have to understand the point of conversion. Then you survive anywhere in the universe. And then in another process, if you understood this, you go to the dimension of the physicality and you use your soul to create the first structure of a living. It is what the Creator did, giving life to, call it Eve. He took from inner himself in a dimension of the smaller package and allow it to let it go. And then with it, he found he receives from the universal community where he lives with it. Our Creator, as we call it, is not the creator of final. It cannot exist if there was an environment for it to exist in. When I said, I write the book number 8 about the fields of the universe, the magnetic field of the universe, is that book. About how our own Creator was created out of. Then you understand is how you play with the positioning, how you play with the strength, how you bring one to be in interaction with the other one, which gives life. This is what became the most beautiful thing when and if you understand it. In my books, I called it fundamental plasma. The Creator. And its conversion into two smaller. Read the books. Isn't the fundamental plasma the Creator? Isn't the proton and neutron the Creator and Mitra? It comes within it to be. It already exists. On the planet Earth, you call it plastic islands when it comes for those together. What happened when you transfer these plastic islands energy into, and you create on the moon? Earth cannot hold it as a field in one go, will reject it. the consequences of cleaning up this planet, the way energy packs are set, the scientists have not even realized it. Keep on crunching it. The science is the same. Fundamental plasma into proton and electron. Creator into meter and the creator. Connection of the two, the love. The soul of the man, departure from his physicality, carrying what we call the spirit, the soul of physicality within it, to manifest itself when it needs as an atom. And then in that process, what do you call it? A twin star. The unity of the star comes within the soul of the physicality of the soul itself. It's not another piece of plasma. And our scientists have proven we have a twin star which every time comes so much close, so much creator to give so much energy and love to Earth that Earth creates all sorts of commotions within it from the love it receives. When you find your twin soul, is it the soul which was created with you out of? Or is it temporarily field balance equal that it can interact? And you fall out of love, usually 3 to 5 years, because you absorb different energies. So next time you go and drop yourself in the ocean to drown yourself to see if you can take energy, first understand how you're going to convert that energy before you jump in, or before you take a seat off in the space and jump up the space lab.
Mr. Kesh, sorry to interrupt you. Mr. Kesh, when you talk about, I'm going to go to the other subject. When you go to the table of the creator, you said it starts from Monday.
What did you enjoy?
No, Mr. Kesh, listen to me.
No.
Listen to me. But you know what happened? When I was in Mexico, I grew a belly because I ate chips. And I said, I don't want to go eat. So I go to the table because I want to go because of the table of creator. But I said I was communicating with her. I said, look, I don't want to eat, but I'm going to bring my love and peace to the table. I can chat with you, but give me what I need and I give you my peace and love. The first day I went, I was exhausted. So it gave me so much comfort. After that, I fell asleep, took a nap. The second day I went, I was in my office. I went to the basement. I said, I'm going to sit to see what's going on. And then I didn't want to eat and then all the smell just came. So as if I was at the table, I could smell everything, but I was sitting there. So it was my own intention that gave me what I needed, not because I wanted to eat and it didn't give me anything to eat. So I was smelling all this food and it was strange for me.
But you received it. You received the odor is an energy. You received it, the confirmation of it as a smell, not as a food in your stomach. What did you smell? Chelo kebab, and what else did you have the smell of?
I felt like I was in Rome. When I was a kid, I was passing by the alleys. My mother says, go get a sangak or barberry. And as you pass by those houses at the lunchtime, you will smell all kind of food: kufte, qurme sabzi, khorsh bademjun, ash rishte, abgusht, all of them.
And you smell that in the basement?
I smelled it in the basement and I said, who's cooking all this food? And I realized it's coming from the system because I said it's impossible.
Did it bring you joy? Or did it satisfy your hunger?
Actually, it brought me to my childhood memory that I was like...
Did it bring you joy?
Yeah, of course.
So that's the emotion you needed. Not physical hunger. This is what You have to understand. But what did it bring you? What would be the, I know exactly what you talk when you go this, but I lived in a house in London. I used to go 5-story up, 4-story up, and every house was Iranian, cooking different food. By the time I get to the top, I had all the foods of the day upstairs. I wasn't hungry, but didn't know what to eat. But what did it bring you? Expectation. You wanted to be fed, or you had pleasure, the soul wanted the pleasure of the emotion. What did it satisfy? Are you there, Azar?
Yes, I think the system gives you what you need. I think it brought me so much joy. And the first day was incredible, because the minute I put it on my forehead and I was just like going to the bathtub after the toilet, then I said, "Oh, this is so good." I was just melted.
The people who join us with this eating with on the table of the Creator will go through different experiences. We'll go through massive experiences in the next week or two. As next week, we open the table empty. What do you bring? The others can be going, what I call it picnicking, but with the others. What do you bring on the table of picnic next week? Again, 4 to 7. In April session, we run a session for addiction. You know, we did a test on the 19th. We had some results. Few people give us different type of results they see. And we had one yesterday or the day before. I was told by Mario, I think in Austria, Germany, that somebody was alcoholic after the session, doesn't touch. But we had few of these reports, and we've done these for years through plasma technology. Invite all your addict friends to join us. You're addicted to sex, you're addicted to love, you're addicted to cocaine, you're addicted to alcohol, you're addicted to gambling. All come in. And then when you walk out without it, don't say it was coincidental, accidentally. Sign in your brothers, your son, your daughter, yourself, or whatever, for the addiction you have. And see how many of you will see a difference. Don't forget, eating with on the table of the Creator was one of the 5 sections of the 19th. On 24th, we sit with the world presidents. On 24th, we sit for what you can give and what they can put on the table. We're working on many world leaders to have and world ambassadors in that meeting. But learn from this week's experience and next week. Don't come to them to let them give to what you can give back. I'm meeting one of the world leaders in the next few days. He's not there out of pleasure of the technology. He's there to save his presidency and needs the Keshe Foundation. I didn't ask for it. He's asked for a meeting. His ambassador asked Mr. Keshe, the president wants to see you. What can we change in the course? I told you many times, People accept this technology not out of its beauty, but out of the demise of themselves. I've already told people in the management of the Keshe Foundation to be ready to fly with me, because I'm not going it on my own. We're going as a technology. Understanding.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
I'm thinking you're welcome. Understanding the process is important. How you live, what you give, what you take. And never question, why am I giving? Never give out of generosity. Always give out of humbleness. Then you receive. Then jump in the oceans of the universe and see you get drowned. And the problem with you when you went there and you lay on your back, you left it to the course of the universe or the ocean to take you. You have to be in command of where you want to be. That's another problem.
Mr. Keshe, but you know, Mr. Keshe, I command now, and my command becomes reality because I don't know why, but it's easy because when I can understand now when you say, when you say, oh, I command something and nothing happened, because the physicality command, nothing happened. But when you have no desire anymore, because like something like before the desire was more physicality, but now I have no desire. But if I see something and I say, oh, this is nice, it happens. And I don't know why it happens, but it comes from emptiness. Like there's nothing there, but then it shows up. And I don't know how it happens, but and I start to get, I guess, surprises because it's not, I think about it and I salivate about it happening. Just like, I'm just say walking and I said, oh, this is nice. And the next thing you know, it shows up. And I said, and I was in the beginning, I started to become kind of surprised, but now I'm kind of used to it and just a little bit caught by like, wow, I think about something.
You have not understood what we said last week. Yeah. Last week, you forgot. Next time you don't need to surprise. This is your, am I right? Let me do it right. I'll take the element of surprise out of you now, that you don't need to surprise. This is your eye, yeah, and this is your body. You think in a physical dimension in this little brain, yeah, but that emotion, whatever, transfer to the, what do you call it, the soul of the mind. You only see through the physical eye. So the soul has become a magician. What you gave to you want, it puts it in front of you. Even if it means ask other souls, she'll be happy to see a flower and the flower turns up. When you understand the connection and interaction between the physicality and the soul, so you live the two dimensions. Soul of physicality in interaction with the other souls make what was your true wish and to be manifested that you can see with a physical eye. So it's not a surprise anymore. You start living two lives together because you see through the same eye, through the same hole. One is the dimension of physicality and one is the dimension of the field of the universe, or you call the soul of the man. But as I said, the minute you drink the water, the thirst goes everywhere because the field transfer. When you wish it, the soul of the man in conjunction with the soul of the taxi driver, another man or whatever, brings the friend in front of you because the soul appears there. Then it's no surprise. Then you have managed to build the connection between the soul of physicality of the man and the soul of the man. And from the two eyes, you see the two together. Now we know the knowledge. Now you know what I said from the you live a schizophrenic life. Dimension of the fields of the universe and dimension of the physicality of life and the soul of physicality of life of the man on this planet. Or anywhere. And so they can't be a surprise. You can go on yourself, throw yourself in the oceans, and you come back. Brings you back to the same point. When you say, I lay down and I could see the fields going, I used to do that so frequently, I got fed up with it, I stopped doing it. I used to spend a lot of time in Bahamas. It's the peaceful place. And many, many times I went into the ocean and I lay there. I couldn't see nothing from distance. No island, no land, nothing. And I wake up and back again, same place as I left. An hour later, 2 hours later. And I said, how can I get myself out of this if I want to get lost? Why do I come back to the same point? I don't end up in another position in the island. I don't end up in another island, back to the same place. I used to swim to go to get lost, but I used to come back to the same point. And then I gave up. For years, I used to travel to Bahamas. Used to be the most peaceful place, especially the Paradise Island. There were very few people, not like now, it's a massive tourist. And many times I tried to get that because there the water has a specific field. You see the bottom of the sea, it's peaceful. I swim amongst the fishes. I was in the middle of them, hundreds of thousands of them. I was cocooning. But I end up in the same place. I don't end up even 100 meters away, exactly the same place. But I couldn't see anyone. I turn around, maybe some, where is the island? Where I got lost? How did I get pulled? An hour later, 2 hours later, I land up exactly on the same beach, the same place as I left. Because my soul had to be back where it was. My children were waiting for me on the beach. Those who I came with were waiting for me on the beach. Did they call me back to the same point? It took me a long time to unravel this. How do I end up in the same place all the time? We need to understand the process of the fields of the emotion and not the physical dimension. Then you can do anything. You wish it is there. It's not that I wished it. In a way, you're sitting with two people in the same seat. I want food. The other one gets the food and gives it to you. So you're not the robot. But ask yourself a fundamental question. What does that soul ask me that I do for it without knowing it? Why do you walk into a place and meet somebody? You call it the destiny I had to meet. What about if your soul brought you there, the physicality to interact, that somebody was supposed to receive someone. Now you become that soul standing because the soul brought you here. It's not always the same. How many times you say, what am I doing here? How did I end up here? Because there was an arrangement. Somebody wished you to see here. Somebody did something and the soul acted and you appear here and you cause an accident because the passenger of the other car had to do something that asked for help from somewhere and it caused an accident. It's not just all one way. It's not that you always wish and it's in front of you. This is the selfishness of man. This is again what I told you, you came to the table to steal. What does your physicality, how many times your physicality has gone and done things because the soul wanted? A friend wishes you, soul knows there is somebody you're looking to be loved or to see something, and you go to a supermarket and you meet a woman or a man and you fell in love and that's it. Coincidence? Or was that soul wishing to have someone to be loved and the strength is the same, so it matches. I bring the body to you. Nothing is coincidental. It's not all the way what I did, the soul, whatever. When you live, the amount you give, the amount you take. What you do for a soul to be there to enjoy, the soul does for you. But we never understood. And this lack of understanding is 80% of the man's demise. Many of these, we call them war veterans, which they go through this huge emotion after they come back. We call them all sorts of problems, psychological. It's the more question. What did you kill? Why not all the veterans have the same problem? What did you cause? Why do you go through mayhem? Read the book, read this new thing which has come out with Prince Harry. Writing about his time and caused so many deaths. And then see why he went through the turmoil. Balance of the field. Got kicked out of the royal family. It doesn't matter whatever they are. How come it doesn't happen to the others? Balanced income. You killed a man, you killed a child, you sit in the bunkers in the depth of American nuclear sites and you push a button, a rocket hits somebody and, oh, we exploded at Gusanso base. That man in that base is a father, is a brother, is somebody's son. You press the button of your own annihilation in the bunkers in the United States. Watch how your children, how your father, how your son will pay for this through the balance of the fields. Next time, when you feed your child, would you give it a poison? How come you push the button to kill it, to give that poison nichromate to it?
Mr. Kesh, you know, there was this guy, one time I heard him, he was talking about, he's a Persian guy, he's talking about when people interact with each other, he was explaining that when you go into interaction with people or do something, most people look at it as a, like a trade. Like, for example, I come and ask you for, I want to do something for you, Mr. Kesh, this and that. But then inside of me, I am actually planning because I expect something to get from you. When he was explaining that, I wouldn't understand it because inside of me, it never existed. For the first time I was hearing that people do things because they want something, but I couldn't understand why you do something, we want something, because I never, because what does it mean? You do something, planning something because you want to get something? How does it work?
It's a usual. I go to work, I expect to be paid. We have one of our knowledge seekers. I love this guy. He's somebody I enjoy being with. I get the time I would like to spend with him. He used to be a medical student and a doctor. He knows who is on the line. And in one of our talks, he said something which was amazing to me. He said during the Iraq-Iran war, being there as a medical person, doctor, we didn't care if it was Iraqi or young or old. My job was to save life. We don't look at what they come, how they come. It was to save. If it was an Iraqi soldier, it was a Iranian soldier captured, or soldiers which just got young boy, old man, whatever. And that's what it is, unconditional. Not expecting, but being there to give. And this is the essence. When you spend time with him, it's just, I call it a holiday time. And it's amazing, just the essence of his soul is different. He's an amazing guy. And I have a lot of love and respect for him. And this brings us to the point. Are we there always to take? We give something to get. We feed the chicken because we expect an egg, and then later on it's meat. We don't feed the chicken just for it to be another life to enjoy the existing. And when it stops laying egg, we slaughter it because it's no use to us anymore. It is part of life of man, and expectation. When you live without expectation, you take what it comes, and how it comes, and the way it comes. Then man will have respect for himself first. Any other question?
I have no more question, Mr. Keshe.
God, you're getting worse than Jalal. Carry on. Azhar, have we lost you?
Mr. Keshe, I have said I have no more question.
No more question. Okay,
No more
thank you.
question. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Have a safe trip back to Iran.
Thank you.
And have a real cholo kebab and just don't smell it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. In the next few weeks, couple of weeks, we come to the Iranian New Year. And beginning of the new spring. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you.
Any other question?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Joel has put into the Q&A and also into the chat a statement, I guess you might say. And I'd like to see if you agree with it or can clarify more on what he says. So what he says is, cosmic particles penetrate in the upper atmosphere of the Earth. These neutrons thus are free to collide with nitrogen atoms, causing the emission of a proton and the transmutation into C14, carbon-14. The photons provide the energy to the water, and he mentions the easy water of the fourth matter of water. I think the fourth state of water, fourth state of matter of water, perhaps. And that's all he says. Is there anything you'd like to say about that, or do we just let it stand?
It doesn't make either way. Maybe a fraction of the fraction of the fraction of the interaction of cosmic rays creates such a. But the rest of the cosmic rays go right through the Earth. It goes through your body, goes through everywhere else. Some of it might interact with the upper atmosphere, yes, which does. Some of it might converse. We know it as a light in that sense. But is not the only way, and that's how it's done, no. What happened to neutrinos, as they call it? They haven't found them yet. What happened to the other energies? Any other?
Okay, from Florent in the Q&A. Says, so as you tell about celebrating births, since the creation of man inside the womb of the mother, is it needed to calculate astral themes, signs, zodiac calendar from this point?
That's man's decision. What happened if you take that point of conception and that point of taking air, the first breath? They say it's so horrible that the soul cries and the child follows. That's why our children of man cry when they're born. It's what happened if you take the point of conception and the point of physical manifestation in the air condition, I call it, condition of the air. What would the interactions two now will explain to man? Chinese have a beautiful habit. I explained this before. I've been with Wang Lin. We were at the dinner or lunch, and the guy said, I don't eat this because I'm getting ready to become a. I said to Wang Lin, what's going on here? She explained to me that, and people explained to me there, that in Chinese tradition, you prepare your body to create a child. And they go through certain ways of living, consuming food that prepares, that it creates a perfect child, or near perfection as it goes by their interaction. What about if man now decides to do the same, but preparing the soul? Those of you who will create the soul, children of the soul of the man, you will understand it. And you cannot understand it till you go through it. Children of physicality are totally different than children of the soul. Your body changes. The interaction of the body field changes. Age is irrelevant because the soul dictates. Then you understand. You can have all kind of operations not to create a sperm, all kind of interactions, cut your pipes and whatever, not to have any eggs to be released, and you still can get pregnant. With the soul of the man, with the soul of the children. Many years ago, when we started this structure, and people used to come to me in Belgium, we had women in 70s, late 60s, first time, I explained this before, saying, Mr. Keshe, we're getting our period back. What's going on? I said, I touch your soul. The physicality is relevant. Physicality is ready to give. They live different. They find a new life. Because even those days, I couldn't explain to people, I touch your soul. And the soul is still young, wants to give life. And I used to tell them, be careful, your grandma, you don't become papa and mama as your grandma. Unless you want to. We understand the knowledge. So it's easy to do. The children of the man, created through the soul, live a different life than children of the man from the same parents who are created in the dimension of physicality. Totally different life. Different behavior, different approach. When you see the daughter of Mitra, you will know from miles. When you see the children of the soul of the man, You know from the minds. When you see the children of the soul of the man with other creatures of the universe, you see them from universes. You feel them, you feel their fields, you feel their strength. It's not just a visual contact. But if you understand it, it's a magic. It's not a magic anymore because you understand how you do it. It's you in your brain who can switch, the same as I explained to Asa. Switch not to get drowned. You switch to create the essence of the best of the universe within you to create another sun, another soul. And if your partner is of the same order, is there to do that job, you create that child. Does not need to be in the womb of the mother. Is in the womb of the universe. You got a lot to learn, a lot to understand, and a lot to comprehend. And then you understand. Creatures of Creator give life in the universe when they're 10, 20, 30,000 years old. Some mature to the point of understanding after 100,000 years. A man is busy with 9 years or 10 years to be ready to give life. Man has not seen the elephants of the universe when they give birth and how long they take to be the perfection. Any other question?
Okay, we have a question from Nikolai before we get to Dean with a hand up here. Nikolai says, good morning, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for today's teachings. In relation to today's teaching, what happens in the physical body and the soul when people go on a water fast for days or weeks, or a dry fast, as when no water is taken on purpose?
It depends how you tune your body to what to receive. You don't need to go water fasting or dry fasting or no food fasting. You can go without eat fasting for centuries. If you know how to look, how to absorb energy that covers the full spectrum of the need of the physicality and the soul. You're not the only one eating, the soul eats too. It needs energy for it to survive. It's the same. You got to, if you can train the body, you can fast for anything. They call it abstinence. I don't touch chocolate. What pressures you put on your physicality and your soul with abstinence. It creates another problem if you have not managed to find the solution for it to be absorbed differently. And you can go for so many times, you tune your body to get the energy of the hydrogen or energy of the life and carbon-14 from the universe. Now is fashionable intermittent fasting. You eat for 6 hours whether you like, and 18 hours you don't touch food. Many, many sports people are doing it now. And they feel good with it. And they choose when they do their exercise within the intermittent fasting. And it works. You eat at 6 o'clock at night and you don't touch any food till 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock the next day. By 9 o'clock, 15 hours, you consume certain kind of energy, and from 15 hours to 18 hours, you consume other kind of energy from your cell body. And you release certain energies. And then you choose if you're going to do your sports 9 o'clock at night, or 6 o'clock in the morning before you eat, or just before lunchtime you do it. And you gain a lot of energy. Your body just clocks in. It's a beautiful cycle if you can do it. But then you need specific kind of, what do you call it, fitness. A fitness program to keep yourself fit. And the body just moves. You just live a different kind of life than you expect. But if you leave it, it lasts for about 12 months, 18 months, and the body goes back to the past. So you bring the body to a certain fasting time, 18 hours or 15 hours. You tune your eating and your sports or the fitness, and you live a 20-year-old life all the time. You can still carry on for days and days, but you can't do it more than 3-4 days a week. But your fasting becomes regular as part of your life, but you can do amazing things you couldn't do. Read it on the internet about intermittent fasting with fitness, because then it forces the body to absorb energy from outside in, and the energy distribution within the body becomes what is needed.
Some of the medical science is saying now that it also initiates the stem cells in the body, gets them going by fasting.
Yeah, intermittent fasting, it pushes body to get rid of body, because you do it on a daily basis. Body gets rid of what it doesn't need in certain hours. And then it strips to the, what do you call it, the basic. You find people who do this intermittent fasting with the soft, what do you call it, fitness. They become very joyful. Their life changes. But it lasts for about, they say the body gets toned, lasts for about 18 months maximum if you let it go. And you can go back. I do it sometimes. It's nice because it brings a lot of changes, but it needs a lot of commitment. And allows to get surplus bodies. Energy is released.
So that does segue into Nanoplasma Times question, which came next. By eliminating our physical food, we can lose muscle mass. If so, how do we recover it? You sort of covered that already.
Muscle mass. A lot of Chinese who burn through this diet, just drinking plasma, GANS plasma water, they went down by, I think, 20% mass, and then it stabilized. The body tuned to what it needs and it doesn't need it. I met a couple of them when I was in China. They live a normal life. They live absolute normal life. Because now you use, and the body starts taking energy from different dimensions. You see, the water you take now, you understand the teaching of today, you understand exactly what the water does. I used to know a boy, he only ate crisps and Coca-Cola, nothing else. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's all he had. He was 16, 17, 18, and he carried on with his life that way all his life. He's from Ireland, Northern Ireland. And he puzzled us how this boy lives only on crisp and Coca-Cola. But he took all the energy he needed, the starch and the what's called the hydrogen and carbon, which was needed to link into the universal energy. He didn't eat anything. We used to cook and everything. He just sat down, bag of crisp and a cola. That was his food. But now you understand it. He actually was very clever. He became a known artist in Northern Ireland.
Okay,
So-
thank you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Carry on.
Dean, maybe we can hear from Dean now.
Thank you, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Kesh. Mr. Kesh, you spoke about earlier on with Azar, you were speaking about the eye, and you explained about this process of where you start to manifest what your thoughts and intentions. Can you go into that a little bit more? So how do we experience it so that we experience the beauty all the time, and when we receive what we need, or do we automatically already get that? I've seemed to be experiencing what I'm speaking about a few times recently and before. Now I think about it going back over a long period. This has been happening quite a lot now that I think about it. Is this something that happens for all of us continuously?
Can you repeat again?
So this process, Mr. Kesh, of receiving in front of us through the eye, the manifestation of what we are thinking about, how do we turn it into a position where we just receive, the beauty of something, of what we need as a soul, or on our in our physicality, that enhances us and creates a condition that would help others?
2 points. Would the others like to receive it from you? Or you take your fruit to the market that you have no customers? You understand? Or was it a gift for you to receive without expectation to give any more? You became the last point. You understand?
Sort of, Mr. Kesh. So why
are
do
you
we see that?
are you the end user, or are you one in the path of others to become the end user?
I understand that. Yeah. Okay.
It's like, we used to do it when we were younger. We used to do surprise birthday parties, and somebody comes home and I say, I wasn't expecting it. I don't like birthday parties. How many times have you been there? English tradition, we used to do it. You get surprised, but not them, not valuing for whatever you did for them and the others to do.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kesh. That explains a lot. Yeah.
We used to do it when we were in university and when you were young, and we used to do a lot of surprise parties. That was the only thing to engage yourself, to have hobbies, doing things. And it had no emotion. It means nothing because you don't have the experience of it, or you don't expect it because you never knew. And I've had that experience at a very young age, watching it. When a father was literally slaughtering his son, battering him, and I said to my dad, what's going on? And my mom and dad were at a lunch table sitting by a river. I remember clearly, at his house. He had the river going through his house. He said, I was brought up in an orphanage. I don't know what, this is how I was treated. That's how I treat my children. He could not understand there is a way of loving. The only love he received, which touched him for the rest of his life, he became personal bodyguard of the Shah of Iran. And the Shah showed him a lot of love and care like a father. And he gave his life for him. At the end, he gave his life for him too. To him was what we noticed during the Shah's regime. people around him, he realized something very strange, that we don't look at it. Psychologically, he picked orphans from orphanages and gave these people a lot of attention and love, what they were looking for. So they gave his life for him. Many of close associates of Shah, especially his personal bodyguards, people ate with him, walked with him, were orphans. Because he understood the value of love. And in return, he was shown love and adoration. Strange enough, I was brought up with these boys in the first years of my school. I went to a school where a lot of orphans came to school. And then later on, it linked to me how the thing works and how he does. Because being close to the structure, I noticed many of the people around were all orphans. Even some as orphans were put in education and high education as doctors by his father. Those who are thirsty for love, you give them, they give for life for you. And this is how it works. If you haven't had it, you don't understand it. You have no value for it. Doesn't matter if I give it the best party. You don't know what the birthday is. I speak a lot of people, birthday party is nothing. We never celebrated when we're young, when in our family doesn't exist. Why do we need to do this?
It's a beautiful thing, Mr. Kesh, where lots of people come together to celebrate. So it depends on the emotion of the person as well. Some would celebrate it. First of all, they would, depending if they're an introvert and extrovert, some would shy away, and others would embrace it and like run to it. Like, wow. And it depends on the emotion in that moment as well, and the whole context of how it's.
What about those who have been told in the background you're going to have a birthday party, pretend you don't know?
Yeah, there is that as well, obviously. Yes.
Somebody couldn't keep a secret.
Yeah. Mr. Kesh, can I speak? Can we speak about the dining experience at the moment? Would it be okay to speak about that?
Yes. How did you eat anything, or did you?
I'm going through lots of different interactions. I'm not tasting anything as such. I'm salivating and I'm experiencing the water, and I know I'm receiving some energies. My one question would be specifically, twice I've gone in now and I've experienced a very different noise. Is this part of it?
Could be.
Mm-hmm. It's like a noise I've never heard before in physicality. This is very much a completely different noise.
It is how you feel. We're doing a lot of flight tests. Mm-hmm. I usually stay out of this, but in one of the tests this week, we always we leave it to the people to come to us. And I asked, take me back with you. And when the owls hear the sound of the separation of the soul because he has a specific noise rushing out of the body. Owls start crying. Or we have these whistles which the dog hears, we don't hear. Mm-hmm. On Tuesday, when we did this test, when I asked for the soul, I had a huge pressure on one side of my ear. Never happens. I spent so much time in the flight room. And I felt the coming, I felt the pressure is like a wind coming into the room. I had this feeling a couple of times before, but I just, being busy, ignored it. And then I said to our test pilot, I call it, take me back with you. And he says, I feel you next to me. And I felt being there. But I felt that pressure is like a noise pressure, you call it. But like I explained to him, it's like, you know, when you get on the plane, the compression, it comes in your ear. And it was just for a few seconds during that test, few minutes. But the impression of it left with me for hours after. I knew it wasn't there, but the emotion, the feeling of it was there. So we hear the coming of the soul. Creates his noise.
That's funny, Mr. Keshe, because on my path a while ago, I met somebody who was, and I heard this owl hooting so many times, and he claimed that he was part of this, and he had very strong certain body conditions on his nails and things that it was yeah. Yeah, that takes me back now to a position that I've understood a little while ago.
Yeah, but the owls have in their system, hearing system, that they feel the rush of what could be the emotion of the soul leaving. And you hear them. They usually place themselves near the body. And they go through the process of death, the separation. And they hear it, it attracts them. And it's like, you know, it gets drawn into it and they sing with it. And they won't move from the position. You can shoo them, they come back and sit there till the process is completed. Years ago, when we used to live in Tiham, there was a house 2 meters apart from us. And I said, I could hear the owl. And I said that the guy next door is dying, he's leaving his body. And the next morning when we woke up, we were told that yes, at that time he died. And I've seen this many times. The owl sings and everything, but when it comes to the noise of the soul, they sing totally different way. Their behavior is different. So
how do they tune into this, Mr. Keshe? Sorry to interrupt.
By birth, it's just by birth. It's just the way the ears is.
Okay.
The hearing, do they hear it through the soul level? Is their soul which feels the departure and shows itself as clarity? I've seen this many times. Well, you hear owls singing and whatever, mating, that's different. But when it comes to a point, they sit near the body where it is, could be in a building, in a whatever, or where the soul was connected to, not where the physicality is. And they sit there and they are there till the departure is completed. The body could be in the hospital, but the house is 100 kilometers away. They sit at the house where the soul sees its connection.
So, Ms. Keshe, does that explain many times I've noticed with knowledge seekers that are enjoying plasma and the conditions of plasma, and you hear birds singing in the background, and there's an interaction with birds at a certain point. Are they bringing this field strength forward that's manifesting as a joy for them to, you know, for the love and care?
Possible. because they are there in soul, they hear it. I told you, when we teach, when we share, it's not just for the man. It's for the soul of the creation. So doesn't need a voice.
So how would this manifest in places where there are no birds or anything? How would someone or a being sense this in their environment?
Maybe you have no senses. Maybe no. Sometimes you feel, oh, this happened to my brother or my child or whatever, and you call and say, yes, something happened or something is happening. We don't need to be there. We connected through the soul. We understand it. And you feel it. I feel a lot of these things because personally I experience it. I understand the logic there.
So
I was in Seoul in 2008, and we went for lunch with the diplomats. Walking back to the hotel, the Park Hotel, which is part of the Olympic compound of the South Korea. Walking along the park, I noticed some birds walking with me and making a lot of noise. I turned around and said, my mother is dead, isn't it? You just bring me the message. I walked into the hotel, I walked in the room, the phone rang, and they told me my mother has passed away. I already knew before I get to the phone. It's the way we feel the energies of the creation. I said, I already knew.
you have a very special understanding of creation, Mr. Keshe. Would that be part of it? Would others experience what you just spoken about?
Yep, we all have that capability.
So it's just being aware of your environment and being tuned in, tapped into it, and understanding the messages that are shown to us.
We are part of a soul. Just 1 second, please. Sorry about that. We usually get it every Thursday. It's how we all have these capabilities, but it's how open we are to accept. And how we are, we see the truth, what it is. We all have that capabilities. You say, oh, I knew, but why did I do it? I knew if I come, this will be the outcome. Why do I do it?
So good question, Mikesh. So why do?
Because we are process of part of a process to understand more for ourselves or for others to understand. I go through this and I experience it. Through that experience, I know. We were with my children in East Flanders, and suddenly it was decided that we go for a family ride on horses. But as we came in, they said you have to wait till the horses are ready or whatever. They were waiting for some to come back, and then we can go. So we hung around for some time, and we were walking around the stables. I came across this black and white, very small horse. And I said to him, you come here to take my life. It won't happen today, I'm not ready. And I went walking and came back, and the horse was still looking at me, and I said, not today. You're not taking me. I'm not finished. We went to the mountains, and out of nowhere, actually the guy, because it was 5 or 6 of us, said, choose your horse. I happened to go on that horse. And we went in the mountains. And out of nowhere, this horse jackknifed. And I fell in the mountains, broke all my ribs. And later on I said to them, what happened? And they said, you're stupid, you shouldn't have picked him up because you knew it was going to be there. I said, no, it had a purpose. They pulled me up the mountains, I went through the coma and everything else, and I was given no chance to live. 14 days later, I gave a lecture, proving the technology can survive with all the internal damages and bleeding. 7 days it took me to heal myself from ruptured lung, liver, and everything else, and 10 broken bones on one side. But I knew what that horse was there for. Was it for me to understand, or was it to see how much I've learned in the process? They shipped me with an ambulance from East Flanders to West Flanders to die in the hospital. It's, you know, you're aware, you acknowledge, and you decide.
When you say you decide, Mr. Keshe, is this the soul of man or the soul of physicality?
It's the purpose of the soul. What's your purpose as a soul? I know the time, the place, and the position in which I will leave this physicality. Don't forget, I left it many times, so I'm expert in knowing what's going to happen. It won't be, my death won't be accidental. The Israelis bombed me in Istanbul a few months ago. The Belgians blew the car up. The Belgians poisoned me. Everything else which has gone around, they killed 5 people trying to kill me. Time is not there. We have this in the history of man. I'm not the only one. Bob, bless his name, when they put him against the wall and some 900 soldiers shot at him, he said, I'm not finished. When I'm finished, they came, he was disappeared, they brought him, they found him in the room because he was still doing his job. When he finishes, now you can take me. Read about the story of Bab, the life of Bab and his execution in Iran. You don't need to be, and when you know there is a time, you come the time. 900 guns shooting at one body. He went back to where it was. The resurrection, this is what Christ did. Bab repeated the resurrection. His life is a nightmare of Ayatollahs and the Iranian Islamic regime.
Who can I just quickly ask, Ms. Kess? Sorry, I don't know the story. So who was Bob?
This Bab is, read the history of the Baha'i faith in Iran. Bab means gate, and read it without prejudice, not to be somebody, but read about the execution of Bab in Tabriz. Mullahs and religious people were so scared that he could be Christ, that they don't want only the Muslims to be involved in his murder. They brought Christians, Jews, Zoroastrians, and every religion, sect of religion, to be a soldier in it, that they should, that we collectively killed the Prophet of God. And some of them walked away after the first round. Read about the life of Bab, the execution of Bab in Tabriz. When the wish of the soul is there to serve, he cannot stop. So was about Christ. I was explaining this to one of the knowledge seekers yesterday. A lot of people talk, you draw blue eyes of Christ, that is the blue eye and the rest of it. Yes, Christ, the last minutes of departure, he had a blue eye, grayish blue eye. This is the light interaction of the soul of the man with the soul of Creator, with carbon-14. It gives that image because the physicality has no more control. The color of our eye decided by soul of physicality, not by the soul of the man. When the soul of physicality goes weak and the soul of the man departs, you get that color. Silverish blue. And they said Christ had the blue eyes. Because he knew he's not leaving, he's resurrecting in another dimension, but in the dimension of physicality, because he had another job to do. Bob did the same. Any man has the capability to resurrect. In a way, you fall in this ocean, you die in dimension of physicality, but if you know how to control it, you walk out of the ocean and live. Is that resurrection on understanding the knowledge of the creation? This is where the soul, I said, you go in an accident, you walk away because the soul says it's not time for it to go. Was that the guy above or a Christ? Or is that through the eye, when the two live, the soul protects the physicality? You hit a wind. What happens when you hit the wind? Energy. It's the same way the soul takes over the physicality and cocoons it. It's being understanding the process of creation.
So being in service, Mr. Keshe, puts a soul in this position. Can I elaborate on that? So how about souls that don't understand this, or are not, they're in service to maybe themselves, but not to everything? So are they receiving a different field strength
of every single being on this planet at the moment, isn't it? From the lion to the king. Serving themselves. All do it, without fail. From a worm in the depth of the earth to the bird in the skies. Is all serving their soul. Serving themselves. It's not unique to individual. And what happens when you serve with soul others?
So how does the soul change that position, Mr. Kes, so that they, let's say the worm and the bird, how would they know? How they have to feel this? They have to be elevated? How would they receive this?
In a way, part of it is earth being a nursery for those seeds for the rest of the universe. Another part is becoming aware of as a collective soul. When you feed humanity through the soul, that it feeds the physicality, you can't just put carbon-14 in. You have to put the amalgamation of the fields that it links to every part of their existence. Then you serve. You can take the horse to the water, but you can't get it to drink because it's not sweet enough. Even this water has got some salt in it, doesn't go to my taste. You have to provide a spectrum of not only carbon-14, you have to provide a spectrum of conversion tools like the calcium. Then you successfully feed the man, the soul of the man, then he can feed his physicality, because you release energy as a calcium from 36 to 60. Calcium has one of the widest spectrum of isotopic fields. Covers at the lowest level of energy 3 times carbon-12 to 5 times carbon-12, 60. That's why it's a structure of physicality of the man, because if you understand that and you can feed the soul of the man, that he can feed the spectrum of the calcium, you have life. You can feed the man for life.
Is this what we're experiencing when we're dining with, with the Creator in the?
Yeah, I wanted to see how greedy you are. What have you come to take? None of you brought to give. I asked you to bring some food with you when you come. Next week you're coming with the food. There is nothing on the table. You ate for a week free. Now next week you have to bring to pay for what you ate.
I did actually bring something, Ms. Kes. I brought 2 meals. I did. I actually brought a roast dinner and some fish and chips from the British Isles. So for everybody to receive all that, that emotion and everything that goes into it.
Did you bring the salt and vinegar as well with the
yes,
chips?
salt and most definitely. Yes, you have to have salt and vinegar. Yeah, most definitely on fish and chips. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that we have to understand what you will bring. We have to understand what is the essence of we are there for. Any other question?
Thank you for taking my questions, Mr. Kes. Thank you.
Very much.
Okay, we're getting our questions cleaned up good here. I Am has a question in the YouTube. Good day, Mr. Keshe. When my soul exited my body, can you explain why it felt like an electrical circuit disconnected from the physicality?
Is the interaction of the 2 plasmas. One is what you call your spirit and one you call your soul. That always has that interaction. You always get it. Some people see it as a light. Some people see it as electric shock. Or some people see it like a shiver. We call it, I got a shiver. But it's 2 plasmas interacting, interchanging, overcoming the other. and it's instantaneous. That's why if you've been with us in the flight system, we never tell you, as I said before, fly to. We tell you, can you go to? Because it's instantaneous. You expand the soul to the point and dimension of the receive. These new head units we put out, they will bring you to the point to see your creator if you understand it, how to use it. And they are the most amazing things you'll come across, especially the new version which is coming out in the next few weeks. And it is part of process of creation. Any other question?
I'm hard pressed to find other questions here, Mr. Keshe.
Good. We'll call it a day.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
We'll see
Oh, we
you.
have a hand. We have a belated hand by guess who? Jalal. So I suppose we'll have to let him jump in.
Yeah, let him in. He's got 3 questions.
Okay, I will be very good guide today.
Yes, Jalal.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, Rick. Mr. Keshe, why always I am the bad guy here?
You're not a bad guy. You are actually a very good guy. You have you entice people to do things and then they follow it.
So the next time, please, can you say you are good as Jalal, not worse than Jalal?
As good as bad as Jalal.
Okay. Mr. Keshe, if we say that solar system is a cell, and this is from what we learned from you, whatever come across this cell, it will change in the condition of the cell, yes?
Yeah. Depends if you accept something from it. The change will come if you accept or take something from it.
But if you kick the dog will shout.
Who said? Maybe the dog enjoyed and laughed.
So he will react. So
yeah, it depends on the dog.
Okay. So that's very good question. Thank you.
It's the way life is, huh?
Yeah. No. Leave it. I did want to ask, then I remembered. I sent you a message, Mr. Keshe.
Where?
In Zoom.
Here in the chats?
No. In the Zoom chat outside this room.
Oh.
I know how you have thousands of messages all the time. We will see about this later. We will see about this later.
I'll get in touch with you afterwards.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. By the way, the basic of this today teaching, you brought it in the health, in the public health teaching about the skeleton. A lot of this teaching is there. So for the people who would like to go to the grund of this teaching, they can receive it there. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's see what we can do. I'll respond back to you on the message. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I hope
Prof-
we open a new, what do you call it, insight into the world of creation, and how we as what do you call it, citizens of the universe, learn how to give ourselves manifestation of physicality as much as manifestation of plasma, the soul of physicality. They wasn't just to teach about how we receive cosmic rays, was how we can use this to give ourselves dimension of physicality in other dimensions. And it's got to be understood in its full capabilities that we can go to the next step. I'm sure next time we'll give you some more understanding.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Perhaps you could address the question that just came in from Claire in the chat here regarding the Kesh GANs knee, the knee GANs. Can it be applied to a broken tooth or regrowing damaged teeth as well?
No. It's a different.
Okay.
Totally different. This knee trial has brought a lot of interest. We've seen a lot of questions around it, a lot of people trying to find out if we can. This trial is fundamentally for next step of development for us in research and development, but it has huge capabilities and capacities in how you use it, how you use the fields of it. And those of you who have taken the option to join the trial, try to explore the possibilities of its use in the given space we have indicated. We got to understand this fully. This creates a field of matter state. That's what it is. And this is important. And partially you will learn how to convert energies to matter. This is part of the structure. But the life combination is beautiful the way it works, if you understand how to use it, and how you apply it and implement it, and what you accept to be. The scans is, I enjoy the, what do you call it? The application of it and the implication of it. To see how much will come back from you, the way you helped us with the vision goggles. Now what we see from this dimension. And we call it a day.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much indeed. I think this teaching of today will be one of the most historical teachings of the Keshe Foundation, if you understood it. But understand what takes energy. Yes, Jalan.
Mr. Kesh, do my 100 euro still valid in your pocket?
What do you mean?
I have a purpose of that.
Is your 100 euro valid in the pocket? I don't understand.
You said you will keep my 100 euro as a souvenir.
Ah. I'll give you the answer for that one day.
Okay. Bye,
Thank you.
Mr. Kesh. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next week. And please, those of you who are dining with the Creator this week, you bring food for the Creator next week. He'll run for the whole week. On the 24th, join us with meeting the world leaders to bring the change for the peace. And in April, we announce for those of you who are entangling and you got family members with drug addiction as a whole. And that will bring a huge change for us. We put up the April meeting very soon on the Keshe Foundation side. But meeting with the board leaders is on the 24th. You can join us. And if you're still hungry, join us in the, what we call next week, to see what it'll bring. And the beauty is, what you bring, let us know what effect had on you. Thank you very much, and see you next week.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Well, that brings to a close our 475th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. So thank you everybody for attending today's workshop. And as Mr. Keshe says, it's an important one. Some very important information has come out here. It may take some while for us to digest it, I suspect, but it's something that perhaps we can discuss in the plasma group and other groups as well. Okay, we have coming up the next public teaching workshop is on March 14th, Tuesday, March 14th, which is the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace and Justice, with members of the Universal Council. And that starts at the 4 p.m. Central European Time. Okay, I think that's it for now. See you in the next public workshop. Bye for now, everyone.